My name is Jason J. Rock Houston, and you're listening to Chaotic Risk Magazine. We can be found on the web at www.chaoticrisk.com. Our special guest tonight is Lady Zepp lead singer Melisa Jane Dichiera. Am I pronouncing your name right there, Melisa?
Yeah, Dichiera.
Dichiera. And we're also going to be talking about your other band, Final Gravity. So now most people who live around the Los Angeles area have heard of Lady Zepp. It's an all-female Led Zeppelin tribute, and I understand you're originally from Australia. So how long have you been in the States, if you don't mind me asking?
Yeah, I've been out here 11, going on 12 years.
Yeah, and Lady.
A while.
Wow, and was Lady Zepp like the first thing you did when you came here?
No, actually, I was hosting a surfing TV show.
Oh, wow. And so, how did Lady Zepp come about? Was that an existing band that you joined, or?
No, actually, me and the drummer formed Lady Zepp, but prior to that, I was approached to be in another Led Zeppelin tribute band, and I'd only been in the country maybe just over a year, and this particular person had a band that was going and had heard of me and contacted me to see if I'd be interested to join.
And let me ask you, when you were growing up, was Led Zeppelin a huge influence on you?
No, I was actually more into Jimi Hendrix, actually. So what happened was I really got familiarized with Led Zeppelin, and I did end up ultimately falling in love with Led Zeppelin. So I learned about 20 songs with this other band, and then that band, it didn't work out for one reason or another, but I met my drummer in that band, and ultimately, because we both really enjoyed doing those songs, we're like, why don't we start our own? And, one thing led to another thing, and again, we formed Lady Zepp, which is really strong and is actually a tight-knit family now.
Now let me ask, back in Australia where you're from, do they have at all any kind of a tribute scene like they do here in LA?
I don't think it's to the same extent. Back when I lived in Australia, not really. But I hear that it's something that's building, that it's a lot more tribute bands from other countries coming out. It's a much smaller scene. Here it's blowing up, and it wasn't even that big back when we formed Lady Zepp, quite honestly.
Yeah, I mean, probably one of the longest standing tribute bands out here in LA is another female tribute, the Iron Maidens, and they've taken their show all over the world, like Mexico and Russia, and it's just amazing the big business that a tribute band can become. And see, that's a great thing about a band like Lady Zepp is, there's half a dozen already great Led Zeppelin tributes out here. But so if you're gonna do like a Led Zepp tribute, you got to really stand out. And the fact that you have an all-female band, that's something pretty special.
Yeah, it is. And the other thing too is our repertoire is huge. We know about 50 Led Zeppelin songs as of right now, and we're always continuing to grow that.
Yeah.
We do a lot of the B-side songs, which people don't hear live so often, so that's always like a special thing when you come to a Lady Zepp show.
And to cover Zeppelin, like you're saying, the materials, you got a wide range of material, everything from like Stairway to Heaven, which is a ballad, to rock and roll, a whole lot of love. So as a singer, you got to be able to have vocal cords that really can reach a high range.
Oh yes. It's but luckily for me, it's like perfect.
Yeah.
But when we first started out, when you're doing the smaller clubs, they were like, oh yeah, why don't you just do 3 1-hour sets or 4 45-minute sets? And so I got used to singing for 4 hours.
Yeah. Wow.
And really building up that marathon type singing skill. So now it's effortless, and now that we're doing, we really only do big shows now, so it's maybe a 2-hour concert, that sort of thing. It's just easy and so enjoyable too.
Yeah. And I know, And I know you guys tour quite a bit, but anybody really wants to know when you're touring, they could go on the website. But with Lady Zepp, how often do you guys do shows?
We do them like monthly, but we actually want to do a lot more coming up this year. So at one point we were actually doing like 3 shows a week.
Wow.
Yeah. So and that was really fun. We were kind of going through a little bit of a transition, breaking through the smaller venues into the bigger venues.
Wow.
It becomes a little difficult when you go into the music business, where you have to kind of hold back and turn things down in order to establish yourself as a big show band. And so we're there now. So now we're ready to start doing a lot more. Take
it to the next level, so to speak. Now, this may seem like a silly question, but in Australia, where you grew up, was Led Zeppelin, were they as popular in Australia as other parts of the world?
Yeah, absolutely. And they were very popular with all of my guitarist friends, for sure.
Yeah.
You know, obviously. I personally just grew up more with, obviously, what my parents.
Uh-huh.
You know, my parents had LPs of Janis Joplin and The Doors and Jimi Hendrix.
Wow, yeah.
I would listen to those. But they were into Zeppelin too. They didn't have the LPs, so I discovered it somewhat on my own, I guess.
Yeah, so let me ask you, Melissa, are you old enough that a lot of kids these days, they hear us talking about, records, even CDs, and they're like, what is that? Were you old enough to have your own record collection back in the day?
Not my own collection. I had a cassette tape
collection. Yeah. That's taking it back a while too, but it's amazing. Vinyl's been making a comeback. Even there's this one record company, they've been releasing some of their newer releases on cassette. But I always loved a CD for the simple fact that you could kind of go to whatever track you wanted. But what kind of amazes me too is the fact that you do the Lady Zepp thing. I was watching the video for your other band, Final Gravity, for I believe the song is No Love, which is I was trying to think how you describe that. I mean, it's almost like a ballad. It's much softer. I don't know if you'd call Final Gravity like a pop band or what, but it's much different than doing Led Zeppelin. And when I was listening to that track, I thought, wow, this girl does this, and she does Lady Zepp. Wow, almost two different worlds. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, and with the original, because I'm actually in 2 original bands and in another one called Sin as well.
Oh, okay.
It's more metal.
Yeah.
So I actually I really like heavy music, but I also love sort of the bluesy soul type music, and so in a lot of the things I do, I'm kind of combining a bit of that. Love of the heaviness and love of the soul, and I guess creating my own soulful metal type feel.
Yeah.
But I feel like Zeppelin does that too, because they have songs that get a bit more intense.
Yeah.
And, that diversity. So they're a bit. They kind of do run true to my heart, and they've definitely become now like a top band.
Oh yeah.
Influence. Yeah.
And as a singer, I would think it'd be cool that to be able to do the Lady Zepp thing and cover those Zeppelin tunes, because like you said, it's a wide range of material. And then, for example, doing your other 2 bands, because even the No Love video, when I was listening to that and watching the video, I thought this is definitely quite a bit different than Lady Zepp. But the cool thing about it is, as an artist, if you're going to have 2 or 3 different bands you're going to be playing with, it's cool that each one kind of has its own little vibe, as opposed to being in all 3 nothing but metal bands, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. So they actually definitely have their own distinctive sound. And I know what you mean, because there are people that they might have a cover band, and then their original band is pretty much like a mimic of the covers that they do. But yeah, I don't do that at all. It's very much that's. I have that outlet, I have this outlet, and it facilitates all the different personalities of me.
And it must be very hard to being in the 3 bands and having to book shows around all 3 of the bands.
I discovered online calendars a long time ago.
Oh, wow.
which really is to me like a lifesaver. So basically, if you have access to my online calendar, any day I'm free, it's like, book it. And then that way you don't have to have this like back and forth. Which that can be really a real nightmare if you're phone calling or kitchen carrying back and forth.
Wow. And of the other two bands, which came first, Final Gravity or Sin? Like which band has been around the longest?
That's a really funny one. So Sin technically came first.
Okay.
Lady Zepp was the very first, and then Sin came. They found me through like a band site and approached. Well, actually, they didn't approach me at first because they thought I was too busy. And then about a month later, the guitarist was like, "Oh, damn it, I'm just going to give it a shot." And I was all over it because I've been wanting to do a metal band for a long time.
Wow.
I grew up with my older brother being a guitarist in a metal band and hanging out with all his metal friends.
Wow.
And he's like 6 years older than me, so I was like, the little kid, all interested in metal, but they never, let me sing or anything. So the minute I got an opportunity, I was all over it. And that was just became a family. Like they're amazing. I love Sin. But what happened was Final Gravity opened for Lady Zepp at this little place in Hollywood, and the drummer was doing a solo album. Wow. And he's like, "Oh, she could sing this song on my album." And so he actually sent a package to the venue to give to me on my next show. And it had a little proposal and a song. And so I hit him up, and I said, "Sure, I'll do it." And in exchange, he was going to kind of like do some studio stuff for me and help each other out.
Oh, cool.
Long story short, he had a Final Gravity show opening for Fate's Warning, and his singer had just, decided to change careers and didn't want to do the band. And so he called me and said, "Can you learn the album in a week?" And I said, "I can, but I'm in Australia, so what's the date?" And I'm like, "Okay, yeah, I arrived the day before. All right, sure." And so we did it. It actually went down really well. It was a hit. And then they said, "Can you be our permanent singer?" I'm like, "Sure."
Wow.
And then the other thing was Sin needed a new drummer. And so I asked, "Would you be able to fill in, for the shows that we have?" And then he was so great that it's like, "Well, can you just be permanent?" So the drummer is John Cheminsky, so he's a drummer of both Sin and Final Gravity. So
how cool.
I sing in his band, and he plays drums in mine. Now it's just become like a whole little circle thing.
Oh wow, that's cool. Now, with Final Gravity, how would you describe overall sound of the band? Would you call it a rock band, a pop band? Because again, I really dig the first single, No Love, and I'm just trying to get the overall feeling of what's the overall sound of the band. Would you say?
Yeah, I would definitely say it's in like the progressive rock category, but and when you hear some of the next songs that we're going to start releasing, it gets a little bit like metal rock.
Yeah,
so
okay.
It's more of like a heavy rock progressive.
Yeah, I guess that's kind of what I was getting at, because I was trying to ask, is like, do they all kind of sound like there's No Love song, or do you kind of have you have a different type, something for everybody, so to speak?
Yeah, it's accessible, but they are longer songs, and it is like that odd timing and a lot of intricacies, but they're more accessible than what like typical progressive rock is.
Oh, okay, cool, cool. And I now this is, I guess, so is this going to be the debut album from Final Gravity, or have they put out any previous albums?
Yeah, they had a previous album which was a self-titled Final Gravity, but that was with a different singer. So that was the one that I I had to learn the album in a week.
Uh-huh.
So since then, I only did like an EP of 4 songs called 4-Pack.
Okay.
And that was with me, and it was kind of just to
showcase a new singer.
Kind of welcome me to the band. And then unfortunately, we wrote this album about 7 years ago, and then everything kind of got put on hold because of just the family things that other people had.
Wow.
And so 7 years later, we're finally bringing this album out. So it's been like a really long work in progress. Technically, it's the second album, but it's the first album for me.
Yeah, yeah.
Because, as the singer.
I mean, that's commitment. Yeah. Working on same album for 7 years.
Oh yeah.
But that shows
it's frustrating too.
shows a level of dedication that you guys have. Now, when you first joined, I was curious, being the fact that they did have a previous singer. Do you feel like the fans were kind of pretty accepting of you right away?
Oh yeah, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and just, like straight from that one show too, we're just receiving such good feedback, and yeah, I love this band and the music. The musicality of it is so fun, but the integrity of the music is super strong too, and I think that's where I just feel really proud of what we've put together. And No Love is a beautiful song.
Oh,
It's got a lot of meaning to it.
Yeah.
But we also have like this whole journey of other songs that I can't wait to get those out.
And I totally agree. It's totally a beautiful song. Like it's kind of like reminds me like of a lot of great ballads and stuff that I grew up on. Now let me ask you, if you don't mind sharing with us, what does the song mean to you? Do you care to tell us, or would you rather people have their own interpretation of the song?
Well, you can certainly have your own interpretation of the song, and a lot of it actually was inspired by the guitarist.
Okay.
And we actually have on the website, there's like this, the story of No Love in his words.
Okay.
Which was the fundamental backstory of No Love, and but for me personally, I feel like I live No Love every day. It's about, it's about just that we need to have stronger compassion in the world. We need to, like a quote at the end is, you have the will now, we need the power to move us from this darkest age into our final hour. So it's like, let's get out of the darkness and like start changing the way that we do things, and like stop injustice.
Wow, I love it, and it's kind of
not rewarding the little guy, and and everything's valued by monetization. And all that sort of stuff.
Oh wow, I love that. Very fitting too for the times we're living in, And one of the reasons I brought that up, asking about the interpretation, is as a songwriter, like when you sit down and write these songs, you yourself know full well what you wrote the song about. But how great is it when somebody comes up to you and they tell you, hey, I really love that song your band put out, and this is what it meant to me, and you're sitting there listening to, and you're thinking, wow, that's not what I wrote the song about, but wow, if you got that out of that song, that's great. If that's what it meant to you.
Yeah, and everything can be interpreted however you want it to. And a lot of the songs, not all the songs, but sometimes when writing, it's not necessarily that it's a personal experience. It's not necessarily something that ever happened. A lot of the time, I'll just have like just a story that comes to me, a feeling, or it could just purely stem from an emotion, and then trying to create a story around what a particular emotion. And some songs actually are from personal experience.
Yeah, it just depends. It could even be. It could be based something that you've seen on in a movie or TV or something you believe in. I mean, see, a lot of the stuff I grew up on, like even a lot of Led Zeppelin stuff, or bands like Tom Petty and the Eagles. If you listen, these are great songwriters, and I always think a lot of the great bands or guys that really they're really great songwriters, and they really, like, even Rod Stewart. If you listen to any of these classic rock songs, they're storytellers, and you can sit there and listen. Oh, okay, maybe this guy, didn't necessarily live us, but he's singing from the heart. And if you really listen to the words, the song actually means something, as opposed to just a bunch of angry guitar riffs, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, totally.
But
there's like one of the songs like for Zeppelin. I love Kashmir as always being
oh yeah, that's
one that I really love. It's so mystical and it's so godly like, and it feels like as if they had like this higher presence and enlightenment with that song.
Yeah, and even the heavy Zeppelin tunes, no two of them sound just alike. I mean, some of my favorite stuff, just off the top of my head, I always love like a Whole Lot of Love, Black Dog, Stairway to Heaven, Rock and Roll. That's always been a great song, But and I got to ask you, as a Zeppelin fan, when Page and Plant got back together, I think it was like in '94 or so, and they put out that No Quarter album. What was your thoughts about like a Plant and Page acoustical thing?
Plant and Page?
Did you ever hear that acoustic thing they did, where just Jimmy Page and Robert Plant, they recorded like an all acoustic album of revamped Zeppelin tunes? And they called it like No Quarter.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
so not with the songs. No, unfortunately, that's where I'm still learning all the Zeppelin things, because I didn't grow up. I didn't grow up with Zeppelin.
Okay. Yeah.
So this was before.
Yeah, and see that's yeah.
I mean after John. Yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of interesting. That being in a Zeppelin tribute, I kind of dig the fact that that you weren't necessarily a Zeppelin fan before you joined the band, but you learned the material and became a fan. That's got to be kind of a unique feeling, and it gives you, I think, a more of an appreciation for the music and the songs that you're playing.
Well, yeah, and I what really kind of captured me when I really just thought, this band is insane. I started learning the song In My Time of Dying.
Oh wow.
And I was in Australia at the time, and the band said, listen to this song and see if you can learn it for when you get back.
Wow.
And I was listening to it, I'm like, what can't they do? And it was such it's like a gospel song that they turned rock and roll.
Wow.
And so I really learned, like, dissected the songs and learned about Zeppelin in a very different way, in a musicality way. And the way that they construct songs, the feeling of songs that they do. And so I didn't learn about them like as a fan, like where you're just looking through fan eyes.
Yeah.
It was more like really, really discovering them. And that was the turning point in My Time of Dying. It's a wild song. And you think, what kind of rock band would do that? They would. The one thing I do know about them is how they said John was, like the heartbeat of the band, and there was no way that the band could go on without him, and I understand that feeling too. Yeah.
And it's kind of interesting, the few shows they've done since he passed away, they allowed his son to kind of fill in for Jason Bonham, so that's kind of cool. Yeah. They keep it in the family, so to speak, and And Lady Zepp, I was curious if you guys had a chance to take the band outside, do any shows outside of the U.S., or have you ever had any desire to take them back to your homeland in Australia and do any shows there?
Yeah, both. Yes and yes. We haven't, but absolutely we want to. We've talked a lot about Australia and trying to figure out
how to make it happen.
To do that.
Yeah.
I know the Iron Maidens were in Australia.
Yeah. Oh.
I heard about that, and that's pretty cool. And I know there is a market.
Yeah.
It's just a
matter
it out.
But
we've actually been talking about doing I guess an Eastern European tour.
Oh, how cool!
Our guitarist is actually from Yugoslav.
Oh, wow.
I think that's the right country. I hope I didn't say the wrong thing. But she knows an artist out there that's potentially going to be doing a tour, so we might be her opening band.
Oh, wow.
So we're talking about doing something like that, and that's the dream.
Yeah, that's a dream. But
musician that actually likes to perform and own their craft. Of course, I want to travel and perform as much as possible.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people might be surprised, especially out here in the LA area, Los Angeles area. Like we were saying at the top of the interview, how big the tribute scene is out here, and like you do have bands like the Iron Maidens who've taken their show around the world, and there's another great Led Zeppelin tribute out here called probably the premier one, Led Zeppelin, and I've interviewed the singer Swan Montgomery a few times, and he was telling me last time I interviewed him that when Led Zeppelin did a reunion show, a number of years ago, and they put out a live CD and a DVD of it called Celebration Day, that they got to go to that show in England, and they got to hang out with the band backstage because I guess Robert Plant's caught some of their shows and was just so impressed with them that they got invited to take to be special guests at their reunion show back there. So that's pretty cool. A tribute band could actually get recognized by the actual band they're paying tribute to.
Yeah, absolutely. I've seen a few things on Swan and Robert Plant meeting.
Yeah.
And, it's really awesome. I know they've been around, I think, almost 20 years.
Wow.
Led Zeppelin. I know it's at least 15.
Yeah.
But they might be around the 20-year mark, so they're like one of the very first.
I think you might be right about that. And now you mentioned that you had a brother that was a guitar player, and so having a brother who was a musician, how big of an influence was that on you, Melissa, and becoming a singer? I mean, did you always want to be a singer? Did you kind of fall into singing accidentally, or did somebody tell you, you have a great voice? What was your story as far as becoming a singer?
So basically, I was singing before I could talk. So before I learned how to do words, I was like, all the time. So the funny thing is, I never remember not singing.
Oh, cool.
But I do remember when I was about 7, my mom being like, okay, so like, do you want to, you don't have to do just singing, or you don't have to do singing. If you want, you can take a break and do some sort of sport. And I remember being like, what?
Yeah.
What? Don't you ever say that to me again. You better continue taking me to my classes, or I'm going to be really... I was outraged that she even proposed such a thing, but what was great was she wasn't pushing me or forcing me. It was something I just
wanted to do
since forever.
Yeah.
But the influence of my brother was, so as a kid, I actually kind of grew up really loving Aretha Franklin. I had the Aretha Franklin cassette tape of the greatest hit, put it in my little boom box and sing every song.
Yeah.
And but when I was about 10 is when Guns N' Roses came out with Appetite of Destruction.
Oh, wow.
And so he was playing that cassette tape, like quote marks. And that's how I sort of discovered more rock.
Okay.
Moving into the rock world. And that was when he was starting to get into metal. Then I discovered Pantera.
Oh, cool.
And,
wow.
So, he influenced me as far as the introduction to slowly getting into heavier music. And,
and
that was kind of cool.
And did you and your brother ever have desire to maybe do anything like form a band together, or did you want to keep your musical projects separate?
He was absolutely against it. I was totally for it, and they needed a singer at one point because their singer had left, who actually is doing amazing. He's in a metal band called King Parrot that tours out here all the time. But I auditioned, and the whole band said, "Yeah, that'd be great," and he's like, "Nah, not doing it." So I'm like, okay.
Yeah, you never know. when siblings are in bands together, they either love each other or hate each other. I mean, perfect example of that is the guys in the Black Crows, you know, they were actual brothers, and they stopped talking. They don't even play together anymore. It's very sad, you know.
It's so sad.
Yeah.
Like for me, it's like, well, why wouldn't you? That makes absolute sense. Perfect.
Yeah. And
you know, it doesn't always go both ways.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
And so, like, let me ask you, like, obviously you got the chops and you got great singing voice, but did you ever try to play any instruments as well, or was your whole thing just okay?
I played a little bit of saxophone at one point. I didn't keep it up because I don't have a saxophone. It's hard to keep up with saxophone when you're not doing it. But I play some keyboards and I play harmonica. I played harmonica to some of the Zeppelin songs.
Oh, that's cool.
I know how to play all the recorders.
Oh, wow. So you are more than just a singer now. Is your singing voice like kind of more of a natural voice? And what I mean by that is, did you take lessons, or did you kind of teach yourself to sing?
All of it. So I naturally had a tone and a voice, you know, from just day one. But over time, which I think is, if you're someone that really is passionate and love your craft, you try to study or
of course,
all options. And so I actually did an opera scholarship.
Oh wow!
I have studied gospel. I've like real gospel singing.
Oh wow!
And the techniques of it. And then I also did another thing called speech level singing, which is kind of honing it back into where you're not manipulating your voice, just letting your true voice come out.
Mm-hmm.
And so I wanted to be a master of all things.
Master of your craft, so to speak.
Singing.
And the fact that you've got so many great influences, everything from Led Zeppelin to Aretha Franklin, you've definitely got the chops, and that's great to be able to have such a diverse vocal ability, if you will. Now, I was watching like the No Love video, like we were talking about. I was watching some of Lady Zep clips that were on YouTube. And I got to also say, Melissa, you got quite a stage presence. So I admire the fact that when you're up on stage, you're doing more. You're not just standing in front of the microphone. You're kind of, you're center stage, and you're really making the audience take notice. Is that something you knew right away that I'm going to be more than just standing in one spot? Because I think that's really what makes a great performer. Yeah,
well. Absolutely, I think performance, I think, is part of the whole package. But it's about really feeling the song. So you're not just singing a song. You're like telling a story. You're sharing your emotions, and definitely my performance style is that I get very absorbed into the story and emotion of what I'm doing, and to almost like I'm possessed, I guess.
Yeah, and when you're doing like the Zeppelin stuff, this is you and your band paying tribute to the mighty Zepp, if you will, and this is your interpretation. And there's a lot of people, kind of like yourself, before you did the band, they may come to a Lady Zepp show and never actually heard of a real Led Zeppelin, or they might go to a Lady Zepp show. And, I've heard these songs on the radio, but I didn't know who did them. And so you guys are helping to keep that Led Zeppelin legacy alive. People that might be hearing Led Zeppelin for the first time, coming to see you play, that's a pretty cool thing,
It's super cool, and it's crazy because I've had like little 5-year-olds at shows come up to me and be like, I want to be just like you, and an 80-year-old.
Yeah, wow, 80-year-old. I love that.
You put so many amazing memories to me, and just recently I did a show just 2 weeks ago at the Santa Fe swap meet, and I had it was a big turnout, and I had a few different people, not in the same groups, but at different times come up to me and say, I was having one of the worst days today, and seeing you perform has just lifted my spirits and completely changed my whole everything.
Well, That's the amazing thing, you know.
That's the amazing thing that you do with music and sharing your energy and feelings to with someone else.
Oh yeah, I mean I've always believed, you know, music is a real great way of you know, bringing people together, a real great you know, way to unite people, and it's just you know, let me ask you now, Lady Zepp, you guys have been around for years, so I imagine with Final Gravity and the other band Sin, do a lot of Lady Zepp fans know about the other bands, or do you find that people find out you're in these other bands and, oh, okay, I want to check these other bands out you're in?
Yeah,
that's cool.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And and the fans will say, like, too, they'll be like, oh yeah, no, I want to check out your original, or oh, I want to check out your Zeppelin, or and so it's so funny because it's kind of like that whole
family circle,
whole little empire that I've created has been a family amongst the musicians, because all of the musicians in all three bands, we're all friends, and we do at different times, you know, interact and hang out, and we open up for each other. I did one show with Sin open for Lady Zepp.
Wow. And what's that?
Know, vice versa, and
especially being
the fans have become part of that circle too, which is really cool.
That's really cool, and especially being the singer. What's that like? Like getting up there and doing two, you know, fronting two different bands and doing the lead singing. Like, do you go on right after each other, or do you usually have like a band in between?
Oh, sorry.
Well, I was asking, like, okay, like you said, you've had gigs where you've you know, two of the bands have played together. So as a singer, that's got to take a lot of energy, getting up there, being the front woman of the band. You know, two different bands, being the lead singer. So in between the sets, like each band set, do you have maybe a middle band so you get a little bit of a break, or is it right off and into the next band?
Yeah, it depends. But yeah, usually I get a little mini break. But that's what I was sort of saying earlier about, you know, I've done my work. I can do up to 4 hours, and I'm good.
Wow.
I'll definitely need a break at that point. And there's a thing that happens when you're doing something you love, and you get this phantom energy where you become invincible. And it's, you know, probably that same energy that a mother gets when she has to save her baby. I get that as a performer. So it's amazing what I can do and how much energy I can just put out. And then the minute I'm off stage, usually I like to just like completely sit in a little ball and just get some air. And it's like reality hits, and I start realizing that I need oxygen and water, and I need to let my body have a break.
Yeah, I bet you. I mean, this is how you make your living, and yet the fact that you enjoy what you do so much, it's almost like it's not even work. It's just, you know, you show up to, you know, play a gig with your friends, you know, in the band, and have a good time, and you bring joy to, you know, the audience, and that's got to be a great feeling.
Yeah, it's the best. I love it, and you know, entertainment is a hard industry, and you can't really do it if you don't really love it.
Yeah.
Because there is a lot of work to get to doing those shows and doing them consistently. So that's why it is such a reward when you are doing it. And it's definitely a passion job. Like we're.
Oh yeah, I mean, because if you're not
for the lazy.
Yeah, if you're not loving it, you know, it could be totally go the other way. Now, I was curious with Final Gravity, like you said, you've released one EP with the band. Are you guys working towards like a full length album, or is it just a matter of when you get enough songs, then it'll be time to release a full length?
Release a full length album.
Well, I guess what I'm asking. Like you got the song No Love up right now, and you told me you're working on some other tunes. So is the goal right now working towards a full length, or are you kind of doing it the modern way where you're releasing like a song at a time, and maybe when you get 10 or 11 tracks posted, you'll think about putting out a CD or something? You know, how are you guys working?
We have the full length actually.
Oh, okay.
So we actually have a full length album. It's going to be called Surviving Humanity.
Oh, okay, so I guess that's the question. Do you guys have a release date yet, or are you still working on?
No, so we're releasing one. So you're spot on in all the different avenues. So we're going to release one song a month.
Oh, okay.
And then release the album at the end. So we've released No Love in January. For February, it's going to be a song called Sincerely Satan.
Okay.
And so I wrote Sincerely Satan. The lyrics for it I actually wrote about 20 years ago.
Oh, wow.
And I turned it into a song with Final Gravity. Then for March, it's going to be this other song called Leaving. And then we've got a total of 8 songs.
Oh, okay. Well, that's cool. Now, that's cool. It's something to look forward to. Now, talk a little bit about the making of the No Love video. I mean, it's pretty professionally shot. It looked like it was shot on a beach or something. What was, how long did that video take you guys to make?
It took way too long. So basically, we did a shoot. I live in Redondo Beach.
Oh, okay, not too far from here.
So that's featuring my beach hood. So
oh, cool,
that
cool.
was part of capturing where I lived. I actually had this idea of doing like a one-take video thing, but it didn't really work out. But we did all this sort of beach footage of just telling the story, and then we needed to have some more things to integrate, and it kind of evolved over time. So we were like, okay, we need to have a bit more. So then we did some green screen stuff.
Yeah.
And then what we did is we did a shoot at, you've heard of Middle Sanez? Sanez?
Oh, no, I haven't. Okay.
You haven't? So she had a studio in downtown called Unfriendly Studios. And so she was kind enough to let us have the studio for the day. And that's where we did all the band shots and different things like that. So we kind of did a few different takes. And we'd do like a shoot once every month or so. And then the editing took a long time because of trying to get some of that imagery.
Yeah.
And, yeah.
But very, very cool looking video. And, California weather is very, very, very weird. I mean, like typically it's very beautiful and sunny. And, Redondo Beach is a great place to be. It's they got a great beach. I've been there many times. I live in Long Beach myself, and then today you look at the weather and it's just rain is coming down like it hasn't in a real long time. So you get all kinds of things here in California.
I thought it was the end of the world. I had to look out the window to make sure that
it was
so good.
And they even had some thunder and lightning strikes today. Now, the band Sin, are you guys working on any new music, or what's going on with that band?
Yeah, so with Sin, we're going to do an EP of, I think it's going to be 3 or 4 songs, but we're actually doing a cover of Bodies by Drowning Pool.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, it was something I've been wanting to do for a really long time. I think that song's just kind of fun and, be interesting to do like a female vocal take. And we have our bass player does, some of those metal screens.
Yeah.
And, so we're trying to do something kind of fun with that. And we're going to film the music video actually in 2 weeks.
Wow,
so that will be out not too soon. I'd say end of February we should have that out, or early March.
And getting back to Final Gravity, do you guys plan to do a lot more shows, or will that be like maybe when you get some of the other songs released?
No, we're definitely talking about getting up and running. So the crazy thing was I had Final Gravity do a guest appearance at my Lady Zepp show 2 weeks ago.
Oh,
we
cool.
just did one song. But we actually hadn't performed live for about 7 years.
Oh, wow! So this is like the comeback tour, huh?
A little bit. Like we were still in contact, and we were still doing recording and studio work, but prior to 7 years, we were playing a lot, where we were playing almost weekly.
Yeah, yeah.
And Final Gravity actually is amazing live. It's like just as powerful as the record, if not more. You know?
I mean, I really urge people. I mean, just the one song I've heard, "No Love." I was really impressed with both the video and the song, and so if that's any indication of what's to come, I really urge people to follow the band on Facebook and support you guys, because I'm always about supporting bands and especially bands that continue to put out new music. I mean, they're especially the music world business being what it is today, Melissa. A lot of bands have the mentality of, you know what, we're not going to release any new music. Nobody's buying CDs. We're just going to live off our catalog of music. So I dig when bands continue to put out new music, because I'm an old school guy. I like to have a physical CD in my hand. I support the bands, like I said. I'm one that'll go and buy a CD. I mean, even if I have to go to the band's website or Amazon.com to get a CD, I'm willing to do that, because it's all about, I believe, supporting the bands that, that are putting out quality product.
Yeah, absolutely, I agree. And you know what a lot of people don't realize, too, is the quality is actually so much better with a physical CD. I think we've forgotten how you lose so much quality.
And even the artwork, the artwork.
With the MP3s, even like that was a bit why when we're talking about LPs earlier.
Yeah.
The whole reason why I think that's becoming like a revolution is because you're getting that, different quality of sound that you just can't get.
Yeah, and the funny thing about vinyl making a comeback is, I was talking to a guy, he tells me, I don't even have a turntable anymore, but I'm going out and getting all these vinyl releases just, to have it as a collector's item, which I think is kind of weird, but okay. It's a cool thing at the same time. And you know what? Before we wrap this up, Melissa, I just want to tell you, what I am really impressed about your personal story is a lot of people that, playing these tribute bands, that play in cover bands, they don't get the credit they deserve. A lot of people, if you play in a tribute band, they think, oh, maybe you're a failed musician that couldn't cut it making your own stuff. But you're doing it all. You're doing the tribute thing. You're paying tribute to some of your heroes. And then you got 2 original bands, and that's got to that shows a level of dedication, shows a level of talent you must have, because you're not just playing other people's tunes, but you do a great job of that. In your own right, but then you have these other 2 great original bands now. Final Gravity, I was curious, being that you're not the original singer, this latest album you guys are working on, when you went in to write the tunes, I mean, did they give you pretty much freedom to kind of just bring your influence into the band, or did they want you to kind of, stick to the original sound of the band, if you know what I mean? Or were you allowed to come in and kind of write the tunes the way you wanted to?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I was given a free range, and that's what's so cool about Final Gravity. And we were going for a bit of a different sound, and I think it's a more modernized sound than what the first album was. Mm-hmm. I think it was an evolution from where they had begun, because when I came in, I was just a completely different personality, so I added a different element, and they liked that, so they didn't suppress it, they embraced it. And when we did that album, because we did a couple of like live band recordings, where we were just jamming songs and jamming ideas, and everyone was free will and passion with what they wanted to do. And some songs, one person was more influential and others another person. So there is sort of everyone has their own little things where they shine a bit more in different songs.
Well, see, it's
definitely like an equal input for sure.
To me, that's what a true band is. All the great bands. I mean, a lot of bands have one guy that just writes all the stuff. Or one band member who dictates to everybody how the band's going to sound. Whereas I think when you have more of a collaborative effort, it comes out better sounding, because for a simple fact that if you allow everybody kind of do their part and bring their influence into the band, everybody, let's be honest, brings something to the table, you know?
Yeah. You're not limiting yourself, and you don't know what you can do unless you're open to ideas and options. And even in life, you can plan everything you want to plan, but if you're not an open person to possibility, you just might miss a perfect possibility that could come by. And that's the same in writing a song and music. Don't stop yourself from those magical possibilities.
Yeah, and like you said, you've been working on this Final Gravity, this latest album for like maybe about the last 7 years, and that's a lot of hard work and dedication. 7 years is a lot of time to put into something, and and even though you were kind of joking with me at one point during the interview, you said there's a song on there that's gonna I wrote the song, the lyrics like 20 years ago, but when you first joined the band 7 years ago, I imagine you were 7 years younger than you are now. You're a much different person today than you were when you first joined the band. So the cool thing is, to me, the fact that you got a song in there that's written 20 years ago is kind of showing, from the time you first joined the band to where you are now. And it's going to kind of, I think, be cool to listen to all these songs once they're recorded and put out there, for a simple fact that even you as a writer and the person that wrote the songs, and you're the lead singer, you're going to probably kind of feel like, this has been my 7-year journey here. This is what I've kind of gone through. It's going to be cool to kind of sit there and listen back to your work.
Oh, absolutely. This is a baby for me. I've been waiting for this for so long, and I can't wait. I'm super excited, and it's definitely something that has a lot of passion behind it, and it wasn't just churned out like, oh yeah, we'll just churn out a whatever. There's like a lot of love and passion behind this album, for sure.
Okay, cool. Now, Melisa, I want to thank you so much. I could talk to you all night, and I've done a pretty good job so far, so thanks for being patient and talking to me. I really enjoyed talking to you, and I just want to say, let's keep in touch, because once the rest of the album from Final Gravity, or even Sin drops, I'd like to maybe do a follow-up interview and really help promote those albums once they get out there. I'm gonna do my best next time, because I am from the LA area too. So next time Lady Zepp plays in my area, I'm gonna do my best to come catch a show. But let's keep in touch, because I've really enjoyed talking to you, and I look forward to doing this again in the future. So once the interview gets posted, I'll let Chip know, and then